Okay, let's talk about a decade of just technological awkwardness.
Oh, here we go.
We all remember it.
Yeah.
That painful, deeply stigmatized first chapter of smart eyewear,
The Google Glass era.
the glass hole era. It
Yeah.
was this masterclass in failure, right?
Well,
Defined by its social contract or lack thereof.
absolutely. Nobody wanted to wear them, and you definitely didn't want to be seen by someone wearing them. It almost killed the entire category.
And yet, based on the sources we've been digging into, here's the shocking part.
Go on.
Google Glass is apparently finally and legitimately real in 2026.
It's happening. But not as a tech toy. This is a comprehensive strategy. The original vision, that subtle utility layer over reality, it's finally found its footing.
Right, and it's backed by this massive, multi-tiered Android XR push.
So our mission today for you is to really understand this pivot. Google is placing a huge bet.
A huge bet on winning what people are calling the AI wearable space. And they're doing it by prioritizing one thing above everything else.
All day. Lightweight wearability.
Exactly. They are deliberately doing the opposite of Apple and Meta.
Who are all in on, high fidelity, expensive, and let's be honest, pretty isolating episodic immersion.
So this isn't a comeback story. It's a calculated market capture. They want to create this smartwatch moment for AR glasses.
And we're going to dive into how they plan to pull it off, starting with, well, how do you overcome that stigma?
That's the million-dollar question.
Google's re-entry in 2026 is basically a massive mea culpa. They're admitting the first attempt failed not because the idea was wrong,
But because the execution was just premature?
the AI wasn't there, the supply chain wasn't there, but now they have Gemini. And they have a very clear hardware portfolio.
And that portfolio, right off the bat, it signals they're going for market saturation. A single product isn't going to cut it.
No, so they have this sophisticated three-tiered strategy.
Starting at the bottom.
You've got the audio-only glasses, a direct shot at the basic Meta Ray-Bans, just cameras, mics, audio. That's your entry point.
Okay, simple enough. But then you move into the really new territory. In 2026, they're launching monocular display glasses.
A single-eye display, which sounds a little strange, but think of it as a subtle heads-up display, likely using microLED, which is bright and super efficient.
And then the high end, the true vision, that comes a bit later. Probably 2027.
That's the full binocular setup. Dual displays using what are called waveguide displays.
We should probably explain what a waveguide is.
Think of it as a super thin, transparent lens that kind of holographically directs digital light into your eye. It allows for real 3D depth without making the glasses bulky.
Which brings us back to the glass hole problem. The genius here, and this addresses it directly, is how they approached fashion.
Oh, absolutely. They knew they couldn't just make another piece of tech hardware.
You have to build a coalition.
Right. They knew they needed to be everywhere glasses are sold. But they couldn't get the biggest player, EssilorLuxottica.
Because Meta has them locked down with Ray-Ban.
So Google went tactical. They partnered with Warby Parker.
Which is huge.
Yeah.
That immediately gets them into the stylish, affordable, direct-to-consumer prescription space. It normalizes the whole thing.
But they didn't stop there. They also got Gentle Monster.
The South Korean luxury brand. Super fashionable, high price point.
So they are intentionally surrounding Meta. Better aesthetics, broader market access.
And this leads to their target demographic, which is maybe the smartest move of all.
The sources are really clear on this. Google is specifically going after high prescription users.
People whose glasses are not a choice. They're an absolute necessity. We're talking beyond the standard ±4 range that Meta's current glasses serve.
It's a brilliant move.
It totally reframes the product.
Yeah.
It's not a new accessory you have to decide to buy.
It's an upgrade to something you already need to see the world. The friction to adopt it becomes almost zero.
I see. So you solve style and accessibility first. But the tech itself has to feel just as invisible.
And that brings us to the core technical split in this whole market, how these devices actually let you see reality.
This is the big one.
This is the fundamental difference. On one side, you have Apple Vision Pro, Oculus Quest, even Samsung's new Galaxy XR headset.
And they all use what's called video pass-through.
Right. So for you listening, what does that mean? It means the device has cameras on the outside capturing the world.
And then it processes that video and displays it on screens inside the headset. You're watching a video of reality.
And the problems there are, well, huge computational load, which kills the battery.
And latency.
Yes, even a tiny delay, like 10 milliseconds, it can cause motion sickness, that weird, uncanny feeling. You always know you're looking at a screen.
But Google, and especially their Project Ori team, they're betting the farm on the opposite approach,
Optical pass-through.
which is exactly what it sounds like.
You're just looking through clear lenses, the digital stuff is overlaid, but you are seeing the actual physical world directly.
So why is that such a game changer?
Because the device doesn't have to render reality. The display is only lighting up the digital bits.
So you get zero latency, zero distortion.
And a tiny fraction of the battery use. Your hands, the room, everything just looks normal.
It's the only way you can achieve that all-day wearability goal. You can actually forget you're wearing them.
You absolutely cannot do that with a video pass-through headset.
That makes a ton of sense for a utility device. But what about the trade-offs? Doesn't optical pass-through mean a much smaller field of view compared to, say, the Vision Pro?
It does. That's a valid point, but it just underscores Google's mission. They are not trying to replace your reality.
They're trying to subtly augment it.
Exactly. And the sources pointed to this really fascinating demo from Project Aura that showed this off.
Right, the Demio demo. Explain why that was such a perfect, subtle magic trick.
Okay, so Demio is a pretty graphically intense VR tabletop game. To run it in AR, the Aura team didn't use any heavy processing.
They took advantage of the optical glass.
They just chroma keyed the game's virtual background to black. And because you're looking through clear glass...
Any black area just becomes the real world.
Precisely. The virtual game table just appears to be sitting on your actual kitchen table.
With no extra compute power needed to render your kitchen.
None. The digital stuff is just floating there. It is a fundamental architectural shortcut that Apple and Samsung, with their video-based hardware, just cannot easily replicate.
It's not about brute force. It's about being efficient and subtle.
And that efficiency defines the entire strategy, which brings us to the ecosystem play.
And the tethering. The better together strategy.
Right, because this is where you have to ask the critical question. Doesn't relying on a phone just move the problem from your face to your pocket?
It's a fair question, and the answer, according to the sources, is yes, but it solves a much bigger problem.
These glasses are designed for offloaded processing. Pushing the heavy work to your Android phone keeps the frames light and, crucially, cool.
Look at the Meta Ray bands. They use an onboard Snapdragon chip, and if you record a long video or do heavy AI stuff,
They get hot.
they get hot fast. Google just sidesteps that whole physical problem.
And tethering unlocks the real killer app, the Gemini AI advantage.
Because the phone is handling the processing, the glasses can do this continuous, low frame rate, rolling video capture for Gemini.
And let's be clear what that means. This isn't just taking a picture and asking Gemini what it sees.
No, this is constant contact.
He sees everything you see all the time. It has a true real-time understanding of your world. That's a huge leap from photo-based AI.
And that deep Android tie-in gives them a massive head start with apps, too.
Oh, for sure. Apple is making developers build special spatial apps from scratch.
It's a beautiful walled garden, but it's empty right now.
Whereas Android XR will let millions of existing 2D Android apps just float in your vision on day one.
Uber, Instagram, whatever, that's an instant ecosystem.
And the UX, the user experience, is designed to be just as simple, the Glimmer design language.
They figured out pretty quickly that complex hand gestures in public are a social non-starter.
Yeah, no one wants to be that person. The killer interaction is the tilt.
The tilt. So if you're navigating...
Looking straight ahead, you just see a simple little directional pill, very clean. But if you tilt your head down, even slightly...
a rich 3D map widget appears, like an interactive guide.
It's fluid, it's private, it's totally intuitive. It mimics what you do anyway, glancing at your phone.
And inputs are just voice commands to Gemini, simple taps on the temple, or using your phone or watch as a controller.
And that utility goes beyond the phone. They wisely embraced cross-platform support, Android XR devices.
And this includes Samsung's Galaxy XR.
Can use a PC Connect feature.
Which is a critical strategic move against Apple.
It is. You can connect to Windows PCs for huge virtual monitors, hand tracking control. It immediately opens up this utility to billions of Windows users.
Totally bypassing Apple's Mac-locked ecosystem for that high-end productivity stuff.
It's a much, much wider net.
Okay, let's pivot to the social side of things. The digital presence battle. If you want people wearing these all day, you have to solve the isolation problem with convincing digital avatars.
And both Apple and Google are going for photorealism, but in very different ways.
And it looks like Google solved a huge logistical headache.
Apple uses personas, which are generated with something called Gaussian splats.
Like millions of tiny digital colored marbles that render a 3D figure.
It's very effective, but to capture it, you have to take the Vision Pro off and scan your face with your phone.
Which is a bit of a process.
Google's tech is called likeness. It uses more traditional 3D meshes, but here is the key logistical advantage.
You keep your glasses on during the scan.
That's the friction reduction. Your avatar is generated with your everyday eyewear included. If you wear prescription glasses, your digital self does too. It normalizes the whole thing.
I see. The sources say Google's likeness currently looks more like a floating video call window, whereas Apple's is a full spatial figure.
But that ease of capture is a huge win for daily utility. The setup has to be as seamless as the device itself.
Absolutely. Okay, for our last main point, let's put the big, heavy headsets back into perspective. We can't forget Samsung is still playing that game.
Right. While Google focuses on lightweight glasses, their main hardware partner, Samsung, is taking on the immersive side with the Galaxy XR.
So that's the direct Apple Vision Pro competitor. MicroLED panels, video pass-through, all the high-end specs.
Competing on the exact same terms, high fidelity, immersive. But the sources all say it's positioned at a much cheaper price point.
And that really brings us back to the analogy that just sums up this whole market divergence.
The source material really nailed it with this one.
The Apple Vision Pro and the Samsung Galaxy XR, they're the high-end home theater system.
They replace your view. They're for incredible, immersive, episodic experiences. Heavy work, big entertainment.
And the Google and Aura glasses.
They're the pair of prescription glasses with a heads-up display.
A lighter, utility-focused layer meant to be with you everywhere, enhancing the real world, not replacing it.
It's utility over immersion. That's the entire philosophy.
So to recap the big takeaway for you, this whole battle in 2026 is fundamentally about convenience, not fidelity.
Google is making a massive calculated bet that continuous all-day AR utility powered by the zero-latency optical tech, Gemini AI, and lightweight fashionable frames
will be more valuable to the average person than the amazing but isolating episodic experiences from the big headsets.
Yeah, the market is crystallizing. We're moving away from the VR console model towards the smartphone accessory model.
If they can make these things stylish and necessary for people who already wear glasses, they could set the standard for everyone else.
It's a very compelling argument.
And it raises this one last, and I think frankly, pretty provocative question for you to think about.
Uh-oh.
If the AI is powered by rolling video capture, meaning it literally sees everything you see all day, every day, and these glasses become a necessity, not an accessory, does that trade-off for utility fundamentally change our definition of privacy in public?
Oof.
Is 2026 the year we collectively agree to let our AI companion be our continuous eyewitness? Something to mull over as this new era really begins.
Yeah.